how much experience do you need to have as a therapist in order to become a travel therapist? So the really cool thing about being a travel therapist, which is different than being a travel nurse, is we can travel as a new grad. And in travel therapy, we can switch between different settings, even if we do not have experience in the new setting. I think it's so cool. Me as a travel therapist, I ended up working in almost every setting out there. And I genuinely think for my personality, it kept me not feeling burnt out, feeling very engaged as an occupational therapist, always learning something new, always having a challenge, and figuring out what my real passions were. What kind of OT would I want to niche down and specialize in eventually? Because when we graduate, sometimes we have one idea, like for me, I thought I would hate schools. And then in reality, when we're doing it, we could fall in love with it, which I did. I ended up loving schools. Now, the only thing to consider when you don't have experience is that you're still competing for these jobs. So let's say you're a new grad and you want to travel to somewhere that is very competitive, meaning it's a popular location, Boulder, Colorado. Everybody wants to go to Boulder, Colorado. There's almost no openings in Boulder, Colorado. If maybe, I don't even know if there ever is an opening there. But let's pretend like there is an opening. You are going to put in your resume alongside all these other therapists that might have 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience in that setting. And so just pretend like you're the hiring manager. You as a new grad versus them as someone with 5 or 10 years experience typically costs them the same amount of money. So of course, you are most likely going to pick the person who has the experience. So as someone who's a new grad, all you have to do is say, look, there's hundreds of jobs out there that are open that are looking for a travel therapist. I'm someone that's coming in with less experience. It makes me slightly less desirable. Yes, you can still get a job, for sure, but you do need to be more open to location. You've got to kind of pull open that part of yourself that might be nervous and want to stay close to home. Get rid of that. Or someone who has been dreaming about this destination location, but the problem with destination locations is we all know of them. So we all kind of want to go there. And you get to be more creative and say, look, I want to go to the beach and I want to be in a cool kind of beachy town with coffee shops. There are so many cool beachy towns with coffee shops, but you've got to open yourself up to the map and say, where else can I go other than San Diego, where it's so competitive and there's almost no jobs? So be open to location and you will easily find jobs and easily find a facility that is happy to accommodate a new grad or someone who doesn't have experience in that setting. But otherwise, no, you don't need experience. But the last thing I'll say that I think is really important is if the facility is hiring us as someone without experience or as a new grad, they are taking a bit more of a risk and a chance on us. So I would still say, show up with as much confidence as you can muster, ask a lot of great questions, and also take a lot of accountability as much as you can the first few weeks especially, of going back home at night and doing some research on things that you're not as familiar with. I had to do that as a new grad. I would forget some things that I knew I learned in school. I knew it's something I probably should remember. I would write all these notes down while I was at my job and go home and open my school books. Because I was brand new, I would probably be doing that in a permanent job too, and study and remember so I could be a great therapist for the patient, for getting them to be better. Because the facility who's hiring a travel therapist is likely shorter staffed. They're probably not stacked up where they can say, here's your mentor. They're going to guide you. The reason they're paying so much money for us is because they really need a therapist that can see patients. So that means we get to get our own mentors. We get to study at night. There's incredible CEU courses that will help expand our knowledge online. Use that stuff. Be empowered. Be willing and have the desire to be a great therapist, even when you're on the road, and know that's your responsibility to do that when you are a new grad that is deciding to travel. But I personally would highly recommend it. I think even though it was hard at first, I think a permanent job would have also been scary and hard. You're a new grad. But I think doing it gave me a lot of confidence. It gave me a lot of independence. It let me see a lot of different settings. And I became a much better therapist because I chose to travel versus choosing to just be in one setting, in one building for much of my career.